We're here at the Street Division off of Shady Grove Road with Public Works Director Denny McFate, who's also a certified floodplain manager for the City of Hot Springs. Welcome, Denny.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, the timing could not be better to talk about storm readiness. We're going to give you a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at what the Street Division does and other aspects of the Public Works Department too, I'm sure, when a storm hits the city. And you all are the experts. You do a great job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, we're looking at a forecast where the storm might hit, so the crews are gearing up right now as we speak, right?
Yes, we're looking at 3 to 6 inches forecast for tonight. We have, in the last few weeks, we've made sure all our equipment's running good. We run them every few days to be sure we hadn't sprung any leaks or we hadn't got any low tires. All our equipment's ready. We'll split our crews into half. We'll send half of them home this afternoon, bring them back on a night shift tonight, and have the other half work till 7, and then we'll shift change at 7 and cover us 24 hours through tomorrow till we get everything cleaned up if we get what they're calling for. We have 7 trucks this year. We started out last year with 2, year before last, 2 years ago, all we had was 2 sand spreader trucks, which were 6-yard spreaders. Last year we moved up to adding 2 pickup trucks, 4-wheel drive, with snowplows and spreaders on those, and they've got a 1.5-yard spreader. This year we've added to the fleet, we've added another 6-yard spreader with a 10-foot plow and 2 more pickups. So that gives us a total of 7 vehicles.
That's what we're seeing behind us?
Behind us.
Okay.
7 vehicles with plows and spreaders. So you spread the salt and sand, and we pre-mix the salt and sand as we load the trucks.
So that's a big leap in readiness, isn't it, with all this extra equipment all outfitted and ready?
Yes, it is. You know, we've got almost 300 miles in the city limits. The highway department tends to concentrate more on the outlying areas. They usually start on the west end of the county moving east. And it doesn't do us a lot of good if we're plowing and cleaning Richard Street and you get out to Central Albert Pike, you can't go anywhere from there. So we're gonna, if need be, we'll take care of some of the interstate highway bad spots as we need to get our citizens moving and get them emergency personnel to where they need to go to and from.
So you communicate closely with the highway department during a storm? And
yes, we usually do. I'll talk to them this morning to find out what their schedule tonight is, to know who they've got here, if they have anybody. Usually if we have any trouble spots, we'll give them a call. Like tonight, if our supervisor will call them. If they can come take care of it, they will. If they're tired, let's say way out 270 West and can't make it in a timely fashion, then we'll go ahead and take care of whatever the issue is.
How do you prioritize the affected streets?
We usually hit the retirement community homes first, so the change of shifts, personnel can make shift changes to take care of the elderly and the needy. The hospitals, we take care of the areas around those, so those personnel can get in and out. The fire station, police stations, so those guys at shift change can get in and out, and our critical facilities like the wastewater plants and the water treatment plants, so those personnel can make their shift change in a timely fashion and be able to get to and from work to keep our infrastructure running. After that, once we get all that cleared, we'll move into outlying areas, the major arterials and collector streets, to get the biggest volume of traffic moving. But the biggest thing that the public can help us with on events like this is to stay off the roads. Stay at home and
we can't say that enough, can we?
Correct. They're slick and they're dangerous. You know, and we can't be everywhere at one time. It'll take probably most of the night and probably half the day tomorrow to get the roads passable if we get what they're calling for. So it's best to stay off the roads unless you absolutely have to get out.
Because we all know that as you've been out there trying to take care of the roads, you're watching a number of cars out there sliding down hills backwards and getting into a mess.
Yes, Hot Springs has a lot. We have a lot of hilly roads. We have a lot of problem areas and intersections on Central and Malvern and
Shady Grove Road
Carpenter Dam Road.
Carpenter Dam, yes.
So yes, we've had some rescues. We had to go out and sand just to get vehicles moving that were stuck. Traffic was at a standstill 2 years ago in those areas. Hope that won't happen tonight. But again, we just encourage everybody to stay off the roads unless you have to get out.
Now, your personnel are seasoned in this exercise. Many of them have been with the city for a number of years. They've weathered a lot of storms. How many personnel do you have out there taking care of these? You said 300 miles?
We'll have approximately 12 people on each shift. We've got a lot of new guys. We've got a lot of new plows. We've got people that will be working plows for the first time. But we've got some really seasoned supervisors that can guide those guys and show them the ropes and how to operate the equipment. Some of them's been practicing with it. Some of them took turns using them last year. So I've got a core group that's used to them, and got some rookies that are going to be learning.
Do you work with Entergy as well during a storm?
Usually the only time we're involved with energy is if we start having limbs come down. Normally that's in an ice event where the limbs start falling out of trees or trees start falling over. Usually we don't with a snow event because we just don't have the forest foliage coming down and blocking roads like you do on ice. A couple of years ago we had a really big event. We got a half inch of ice on the limbs first, and then we got about an inch of snow, and it caused a lot of trees to come down and pine trees to bend over, and we spent a long time cleaning up after that event.
With downtown having a number of new businesses, there's been a good bit of turnover. Would you have any message to share with new business owners or those who work downtown, since it has sort of unique aspects during a storm?
I couldn't say to do anything different than you would any other business in town. We will hit downtown early as we do the downtown fire station and police department. We usually work out to the 7 Park Avenue Hill out by that nursing home that's out there towards the gorge. So we usually will have downtown cleaned up, probably usually on the front end of the event, more so than any other part of town, just by what lies between either side of it.
So they're probably more worried about heavy rain events than
flooding
winter.
is more of a problem downtown. Winter's not much different downtown than it is if you're out at Cornerstone or somewhere else.
But it's definitely pretty on the mountains.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, we talked a little bit about staying off the roads. Is there anything else that you'd advise the public to do?
No, just be careful, and if you're going outside, play in the snow, you know, slick stairs, slick steps, porches, sidewalks. Even walking to your car can be difficult, especially if we get a little ice under the snow that we're going to get. It can be slippery underneath. Just be careful and be mindful where you walk.
Right. That's why we have weather radios and TV stations and lots of ways for the public to get notified in case they need to stay home.
And it wouldn't hurt for some people to go by Lowe's or Sutherland's or somewhere like that and pick you up a bag of salt, rock salt, to sprinkle out over your porches, your sidewalks, or those things at your house in case you get an ice event that you can help melt it so you're safe at home as well. It's not very expensive to do that.
Well, good tip. Thank you so much for updating us today on the storm readiness of the City of Hot Springs Public Works Street Division here. As you can see, we've got lots of vehicles ready to roll.
They're ready to go.
Next week, we'll bring you more city news.